All right, good morning and welcome to another Business to Business webinar series presentation. Glad you could join us this morning. It's a chilly morning here in Logan. I don't know if you're watching this live, you'll know that it's chilly. And if you're watching this and recording, just think of us getting up early in the chilly morning. It is absolutely magical outside. As Rhiannon is pointing out, yes, it is. Welcome to all of those that are joining us this morning. We've got a few people jumping on and there might be some connection issues because I see people coming in and dropping out. But if this is your first time to a business to business webinar series, welcome. This is a series put on by the Logan Chamber of Commerce. We last year wrote a book or collaborated to write a book called Business to Business. You can see it there on your screen. And it was written by members of the Chamber of Commerce who've actually been there and done it. And it was them, the idea was for them to share their knowledge, and the wonderful Jackie Thompson compiled that for us. Let me move ahead a slide if I can. There we go. So this is, this morning we're going to be talking through the culture through the power of many. But if you are in business and you're wondering why, go back and have a look at the why of business. If you're having problems with your cash flow, go back and have a look at the cash flow journey with Pat Robards. If you're interested in digital marketing, check out the digital marketing or the Facebook deep dive. There's two there. You'll see the 27th of May and the 17th of June. If you're struggling with some isolation in business, check out Jackie Thompson's fabulous webinar. Business Systems with Tim Stokes will give you some ideas on how to put your businesses in order and make them a little bit more automated. And then we move into the greatest asset of your business, your team. So we have assembling your team with Natasha Hobson, managing your team or management of staff with Wayne Rabnott. And this morning we're joined by Robert Guterres with culture through the power of many. As I said, this is a series put together in Logan. It was birthed in Logan. It's as far as I know, it's the only one based on a book, when we're the only chamber to have actually produced a book. So it really is for us finding our feet and trying to help businesses do the best they can through COVID. Now, as I said, this morning we have the culture through the power of many with Robert Guterres. Next week we've got home-based businesses with Jackie Thompson, and I'm really looking forward to that one. This is really topical with the amount of businesses now being forced to run out of their homes. This one is going to be one to absolutely make sure you attend. Then we're going into branding with Amanda Lowry, work-life fusion with Hayley Wilson, franchising with Tom Potter, and starting your own business with Terry Ski. Now, I will say, we had a management committee meeting last week, and there may be an interruption to this. And the reason for this is that we have invited the Minister, Shannon Fentiman, to come and present at our first face-to-face post-COVID breakfast. Yep, you're hearing it here first. So in August, we're looking to have a post-COVID breakfast. We're putting together the details of that, and they'll be announced very shortly. And we're hoping that Minister Fentiman will come down and join us for that one, which would be absolutely amazing. What we will do is we will live stream her presentation. So it'll be the same as the webinar series. You'll be able to just tune in from 8 till 8:30 and see that, but stay tuned for more of that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing now and invite Robert Guterres to come out. Robert, are you there?
Morning, how are you?
I am fabulous. Look at your gorgeous daughter standing on behind you. She's just looking over your shoulder there. There she is.
Yes, she's there always to protect me.
Proud papa moment. Hey, look, thank you very much for putting the chapter together, Robert. The idea of culture is incredibly important. From the work that I've done and the little bit of work I've done in culture through organisations, both at the government level and in the private sector, it really sort of, and tell me if this is where you take it, it's really that idea that it's the decisions that people make when they're not being watched. is that where you sort of where you see the benefits out of culture?
In essence, you're not wrong at all. It really is your team. You know,
Yeah.
and the company is made up of your team members, not just yourself, unless you're sole proprietor, of course. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, listen, I'm going to turn my video off because you've got a presentation. If you want to bring that up.
Yes. I'm a very visual person, so I've created a PowerPoint based on my chapter. So excuse me while I share this.
All right. While you're doing that, look,
Okay.
guys, Robert's doing that. If you do have any questions, there's a Q&A button down the bottom. And then you can also type into the chat window. I see Stuart George is with us again, Susan Watson, Rhiannon, as always, fabulous to have you with us. Nadia, Jamie, Emma, Alex, a few others there. Rand, are you ready to go?
Host disabled participant.
Oh,
Speech.
look at me doing that. There we go. Try now. Always get caught with that one. The amount of webinars I've been on that I've been laughing at the person who did that, and now it's me doing it. All
Okay,
right.
can you see that?
Absolutely. Culture growth through the power of many.
Okay, no, thank you. All right. As I said, I've just created a PowerPoint based on the actual chapter. So let me start. I'll start by first introducing myself. With over 35, actually close to actually 40 years of running small businesses, startups. I'm just in that paragraph I was just talking about. I'm in a good place now where I'm able to actually do what I wish to do, and that is sharing my passion for helping others. How do I do that? I work with business owners one-on-one, empower them to reach their ideal business. We do this with strategies. So before we start talking about culture, it's important to actually understand where it stands. And in my business, I use the terminology ideal business a lot. And what is an ideal business? It is your ideal income, your ideal freedom, and your ideal scale. So income is the money you want. The freedom is the time you wish to work on in your business or on your business. And the scale is the size of business you need to allow you the other two. And having all those three optimized gives you the ideal business. You notice I've got three circles there, and these three circles represent the areas in which money is won or lost. One is, we call it promote, which is your sales and marketing. Second is margins or your financials, and the third is people. And having all those areas optimized will give you your ideal business. So when you have good business coming in, your margins are strong, you're going to be able to generate a great income. Same with having the right people, and you can afford with the right profits, you've got the freedom, so on, to give you the ideal business. When, excuse me, when things go wrong, for example, you may need more work, you may have issues with your sales marketing, or there are money issues, perhaps you have a great turnover, but you're not making any money, so the issues with your margins. And likewise, you have staff problems, you have issues with your people. We break these three areas into further areas to help you work on them. And today we're going to talk about culture. So, building culture. So, what is culture? Culture is one of the most important aspects to any business. It is how the business acts. You can call it the personality of the organization. A company of great culture attracts great staff, drives enthusiasm, performance, and allows initiative to blossom. This is where leaders grow, your workplace practices improve, and most importantly, happiness for the not just the leader, but the people that work in it. So why should we care? Most valuable asset your business has is not its financial asset. And a lot of people, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but there are many that understand this, but there are a lot that don't. The most valuable asset are the people you have working in your business or organization. What they carry around in their heads, their thoughts, their experiences, the ability to achieve results, and the ability to work together. So how do we create good culture in the workplace? Role of the leader. Your business is a reflection of you. It's the leader's vision that dictates the direction of the business. The leader's values, his integrity, it filters down. Likewise, if it was the opposite, it would also filter down. Management team who supports the leader. Vision of the leader, the management plays a vital role in empowering and interacting with the team. The importance of playing above the line cannot be stressed enough. Playing above the line is something we hear a lot about, but it is so important. I'll give you an example of a company I used to be involved with. There was a state manager, and it was a great company, but this state manager, great salesman, absolutely fantastic salesman, but he had a habit of being below the line in the sense that he would, if something went really well, that he did not, it was someone else's responsibility for winning that result, he would take ownership of it and increase his profile with the bosses in the state. When things went wrong, he would always blame the other person. There was always an excuse for everything. Right? And he was very good at hiding things. The result was the state business went from a modest 4 million, tenfold down to under 500,000. Right? It was a disaster. Right? And because he was very good at hiding things, it wasn't discovered until it was too late. So it's very important to play above the line. Playing above the line is, I call it like a leader in the army. Right? You have the person at the front who takes charge, protects the people behind him. You know, when things go wrong, and things will go wrong, that is when you pull that person aside privately and have a little chat, find out what the issue is. No one comes to work to do things, to make mistakes, but we're all human. To have a chat privately and give him the respect, but you protect him, you take ownership of the problem and say, it's fixed, we will take charge of it and you will fix it.
That's a really important point, Robert. You can't stress that enough. The amount of decisions that I make based on previous managers that have protected our little unit of workers from, and certainly in the government, has formed the leader that I am, in that you protect your team, you don't blame your team, or shit goes uphill, I think is the way they say it. You don't put shit down, the shit goes up. So you complain to your manager, but you don't complain down. You only say good things down.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to have their back, right? In doing so, they'll have your back. You know, when you need them, they will support you.
So for everyone on the call, Robert and I have got your back, just so you know.
Okay. Third, communications. This is really big. The key to great culture is great communications and the frequency between leaders, manager, and the team. Making sure the message you tell them is clear and transparent. When the decision-making processes are very clear as well. So the ability for the team to understand and accept or provide the debate needed so the vision is owned by all. How great is it if you had the whole team with the same goals and the same vision. I think last week, Wayne Rabnott had a great, had a great saying in which if you only gave 5% of knowledge to your team member, how could you possibly expect him to perform at 100%?
Yeah.
So, which is it's the same message as this. So if you gave them as close to 100% as you can of the knowledge, you surely would expect a successful result, If not, perhaps the person is in the wrong role,
Yeah.
4, mission statement. The team needs to be very clear of the vision, the values and vision of the company. Your mission statement is where you are today, and that's your mission. Your vision is where you want to go tomorrow. It should actually reflect the direction and philosophy of the organization, inspiring the team and place at the forefront of their focus. This mission statement and vision statement is a very big one. Any company should spend a lot of time going through this and going through it with all the key staff, not just the owner. And when it is agreed upon, you plaster it everywhere. You plaster it on walls, you have in your cars, so everyone truly understands what the company stands for, its values, so that everyone can be empowered to act in the same direction.
I know that for some that they think that sounds like a bit rah-rah, and maybe sounds a bit very American, but I did get the opportunity to interview all of the Olympic teams, or the coaches for the Olympic teams in the last Olympics in Rio, and one of the things that came out was their team mission statement. They, on the whole, or most of the teams, decided they needed to see that the minimum of 8 times a day. They needed to reinforce that mission statement. They shortened their long statement down to acronyms or whatever they needed to do, but they had it, their purse, their wallet, they had it on the back of the toilet wall. Their parents wrote it on the fridge. They wrote it into the margarine, or the butter in the fridge. Like, they wrote it everywhere, so that it is really important to reinforce those things that you see as your mission, those things that is your vision.
Absolutely, because you create that thought process, and you can't expect that the team would know what you were thinking about. So you have to have it in front of them so that they have that example. Almost every direction they look, so they are aware of the direction.
Yeah, and that directly relates to motivation. Back to you.
Yes. No. Yeah, absolutely. So many people at first glance think that money is the all-important motivator. I mean, surely it's important, but however, research shows that as long as a reasonable and fair income is supplied, issues such as achievement, recognition, and the nature of the work will override money considerations. So as an example, what does your team talk about in the work breaks? Apart from personal things, if they were to talk about work, it would invariably be the nature of the work, the achievements, recognition. I don't think I've been into many meetings where money was discussed at all. So it's not really the main drive of it, but it is important, for sure. So a national survey, the references on book, and I think Google has a lot to do with it too, has wages and money ranking below achievement, recognition, nature of work, responsibility, advancement. So all things that actually mean something to people ranks above money. So staff motivation techniques. Actually, that reminds me of, I think the first thing I wrote in my chapter is a story I heard from another presenter, I think in Yarrabilba when I was there. It was a great story. He said He went to a seminar in which there was a room full of CEOs. And the speaker asked everyone, all the CEOs in their lovely suits and expensive tickets to be there, asked them, how many of you have actually made coffee for your receptionist? Great question. No doubt the room was dead quiet. Can you imagine if any one of them, and these are large companies, so, you know, great hierarchical structure there. But you can imagine if the CEO on a regular basis went around asking, can I make you a coffee? It shows great respect to the people that he works with. And goes back to that saying, having your back, you know. And they would reciprocate back to him. If things were in strife, they would be protecting him. Right? So it's very important to say things like good morning, thank you, right? The second one on my line, being an active listener to motivate others. Genuinely show care and never talk down to them. Respect their opinions. There's certainly lots of people, perhaps through life's journeys, they found themselves in a role, probably not with the same responsibility they may have had when they were younger, but they've got great knowledge and great experience. So there's always someone with incredible pearls of wisdom. So you must have your ears open. Create high standards to motivate others. High performance organizations set high standards for their people. Focus your employees on the end result, the overall team goal. Once you successfully communicate this, your team will band together to defeat any obstacles that get in their way. Walk your talk to motivate others. If you expect your employees to arrive early, then you arrive early. Keep your promises. Keep your standards. Your employees are watching you. Even when you think they're not, they're watching you. Reward outstanding achievements to motivate others. The more you reward employees for excellent achievement, the more you receive more of the same behavior. That's easy to understand that, but I don't think it's done too often enough. Employees go to work to succeed, not to fail. I think I mentioned that earlier. Yes, remove all barriers to success, and you will motivate others to achieve your business goals. I like that, especially remove all barriers to success, and you will motivate others to achieve your business goals. So the people working for you will expect equal and fair treatment. They'll expect good training to prepare them for advancement, proper equipment and adequate resources, good working conditions, recognition of their performance and of their worth as individuals. They will expect to develop as a team. They would expect encouragement of effort, protection from hazards. They would definitely expect a good example, and they expect information on what is happening and what is going to happen. So we join to an end to this chapter. So in conclusion, choosing the right person appropriate for a role is paramount. We all have different personality traits with our own strengths and values. I also use the DISC system, right? And it's important to understand the role that each person is required to play. The skill in determining the fit within the organization while creating an environment in which your team can become invested in the journey. If you had to distill the essence of what culture is into two simple words, I think those two words are respect and values. So great culture will see a company soar through the power of many. This is a very old saying, isn't it? The definitions of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. But why do I put it there? Because everyone knows this saying, just about everyone, but how many people actually act on it? You know you need to do something, but oh God, I got too much work on, or you know, I've got these problems, or I'll get to it tomorrow. But changing a habit does require a bit of effort, and changing the culture, it's a fairly big commitment for any company who is not used to doing that. And the other one we also talked about last week is that old B times do times B equals have. Regardless of what you're doing, you have to be positive, play above the line. If you're not, it'll be hard to actually achieve your goals. And this is my newest favorite picture of a company. I think it's fantastic, right? So there you have a company. They are they're soaring, they're reaching new heights. The leader could be anywhere. He could be up top. Depends what he wants to do, actually. He could be at the bottom, directing, right? But he's there. Every single member of the company is doing the best to keep the company afloat, right? If one of them were to let go, especially once up the tower, it would be a big struggle to keep the company vertical. Around the bottom, you have there are your clients looking at you in admiration, right? You have a lot of people just wishing to be part of your company. They are envious of the staff, right? At the next vacancy, you're going to get a mass group of people wishing to join. You have your opposition looking at you in awe. I think that's I think that's a great photo of your business where you should be. And finally, just my lovely picture and some details if you do wish to contact me. All right, Stuart. I think we're nearing our half an hour. I can hand it back to you.
That's great, Robert. Look, I know that there's a number of people on the webinar, and there'll be those that are watching at home that think, look, I don't need a culture. I've only got one person, or I don't need a culture. I've got no people. But what I would say is culture is important from even when you don't have staff. The way the person in the mirror behaves, you want to be consistent right from the start, and that really comes back to what are you doing. And this is the things that you were saying, Robert, about walk the walk, be the leader that you need to be, have the vision, see the vision yourself. If you can't see the vision, even as a sole trader, it's really hard for you to sell the vision to other people. So what I'll do, Robert, I'll take back control now and get that in that slide, and we'll come back to this one. There we go. Yep. So this has been another business to business webinar series. Next week we have home-based business with Jackie Thompson. If you are a home-based business, if you know people that have a home-based business, this is going to be a really important one. We are at the 8:30 mark. I was going to just quickly check to see if we had any questions. Jamie had a question, but he's taken off, and I'll cover that off later. We did have a question: are we going to put the content up? What I'll do, if it's all right with you, Robert, I will attach the slides with the video presentation. So if you go to loganchamber.com.au and click on recordings and find this webinar series, and you go to YouTube, the YouTube link from that will have the link with the slides. That'll be the easiest way to do that. It'll be on the YouTube link. Is that all right with you, Robert?
Thank you.
Yeah. Perfect. As I was saying, that there are a number of the businesses that are on that don't have staff, and don't be afraid of staff. This was something that Natasha really put out there. You don't be afraid of hiring staff. You've got the skills for management of staff and the culture and building a culture now to really crash through that barrier. Staff allow you to multiply. Staff are the most important part of your business. They're more important
Absolutely.
than patents. They're more important than inventions. They're more important than your equipment, because staff are what drive the business when you're not there.
Absolutely, Stuart. Yeah.
All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap up there because we are past our half-hour mark. But look, thank you so much for everyone for joining us. As I said, next week we have home-based businesses with Jackie Thompson. There's a list, of updated picture. I finally got Annette's picture up there and Carolyn's new picture. Emma's looking gorgeous, smiling there. These are the committee for the 2019-2020 committee for the Logan Chamber of Commerce. And if you see any of these guys in the street, tip your hat to them, give them shake their hand, give them a hug. Like, they are all volunteers, and we all work really hard to try and make sure business in Logan does better than anywhere else. And to be honest, I think we're doing a great job. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, the Logan Office of Economic Development. If you have any queries, jump onto loed.com.au, Invest Logan, 101 FM, Meadowbrook Golf Club that are always looking after us, Rebel 90.5 and The Breeze. They've done some great work around those COVID grants and trying to help businesses get those. And of course, our big friend down at IKEA in the blue and yellow. Have a fabulous week. We will see you next week. Until then, stay safe.